Hi, I'm Lindsey Patrick Wright. I'm the manager of the Southeast branch of the Nashville Public Library, and I'm coming to you again with another really easy Instant Pot recipe. So last month we made black beans in the Instant Pot. And the reason is because I wanted to use them in chili because it's fall and that's what you do is you make chili. Now, the chili that we are going to be making today is actually, just double checking, vegan. I was going to say vegetarian, but it's actually vegan. Um, because we're trying to eat less meat, because it's a good thing to do. It's very easy. It's still quite hearty, as you will see at the end, and not a lot of steps to it. Now, I got a lot of ingredients because it's chili, and it's also vegan chili. So you got to add a couple of things to it to really give it a little oomph. So what gives it a little oomph? Quinoa. That's going to add a little bit of a bite to it, and since we don't have meat in it, the quinoa will kind of act as a substitute for that. So we have a half a cup of quinoa. I have a tricolor blend, but I don't think it really matters what kind of quinoa. This is uncooked quinoa. The first step is really going to be cooking it and infusing those chili flavors in the quinoa. Got a mix of spices, just your typical chili spices. Chili powder, smoked paprika, ground cumin, and I have a little onion powder in here. Here's the thing. I don't like chopping onions. I really hate chopping onions, but I like onion flavor, and so I just use onion powder. Call me lazy. I don't really care. So this right here, if you just smell it, smells like chili. Also got just a little can of diced green chilies, 4 ounces, and it is drained. We drain the juice out of it. You don't have to. If you want to use the juice of it, you can. Just remember it's slightly acidic, so it'll mess with the chili a little bit, but you might like that. We have 2.5 cups of vegetable stock. Got some garlic. Again, I don't like chopping garlic. I don't like peeling and chopping garlic, so I just get this and no one's complained. We have some tomato sauce. Now this is a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. We are only going to use 8 ounces. We might add a little bit at the end. So that's why I get a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce, because sometimes the balance isn't right and we need it a little bit thicker than what we have. And then we've got our black beans from last week. We've got a can of pinto beans and a can of corn. All of these are drained. We don't want the juices in there. And it's about 15 ounces of each of those. I also have this little guy. It's my little secret. It's liquid smoke. And I add a couple of bloops in there, and it just adds a nice smoky finish to it. All right, so like I said before, our first step is primarily going to be cooking that quinoa and getting the chili flavors infused, because our beans and our corn, they're cooked. We don't want to cook them to death. So we're going to add those at the end. So you're going to add all of this stuff first, and there's no real order to how you do it. That is kind of the beauty of the Instant Pot, is that all of those flavors just get infused together. So like there's no real like layering of flavors. All right, so I put in the 2.5 cups of vegetable stock. I'm going to add the half cup of quinoa in there. I'm going to add about the equivalent of 4 cloves of garlic in there. I'm going to get my spices in. I'm going to add my chilies. And I'm going to add about 8 ounces of tomato sauce. All right. So I've just got them all in there. I'm going to give them a stir. Spices. I'm going to go down. All right. Giving it a little bit of a stir. And now we are going to close our lid, and we're going to cook this on manual high for 8 minutes. So we're going to press manual. We're going to bump that up to 8. So since we've got 2.5 cups of vegetable stock and we've also got that tomato sauce in there, it's probably going to take it about 10 minutes to come up to pressure. Now, once it comes up to pressure, we are going, and I'm going to repeat this, but we're going to instantly release it, and we're going to add in all of the elements that we didn't put in on the first go round, and we're actually going to close it and let it kind of just sit in its own deliciousness for a while to get that flavor infused into the beans and the corn, and that's when we're going to add our little secret recipe, and that's when we'll add some salt too. We've got vegetable stock in here. It is reduced sodium vegetable stock, but we don't want to over salt it. So I'm going to take a taste of it and see how much salt needs to go in before I add the other stuff in. So see you back in a little bit. All right, so the 8 minutes is up, and we heard a series of loud beeps, and then you'll see that there is an L and then a number after it. That L stands for lapsed, as in lapsed time. So what we're going to do now is we're going to quickly release the pressure. There's going to be a whole lot of pressure in here, and so I don't think I've shown this trick. This is another way that you can safely release the pressure and stand out of the way, but it's probably going to take it a minute for all the pressure to release. So you just use a device. Right, you know that it is safe to open the lid when the float valve on top, the little silver thingy, has popped down, but also the lid won't open until that has happened. So if you try to open it and it doesn't, stop. Oh my God, it smells so good. All right, so right now it doesn't look like much because again, we haven't added this bulk to it. So right now all we have in here is quinoa liquid, a little bit of green chilies. All right, so like I said, we are still going to let this cook with some residual heat. So not really any direct heat, just some kind of residual heat. So now is the time to add more spice if we think we need it. So I'm going to take a little bit of a taste. It's really good already. But we definitely need some salt. So I'm going to add about, I would say, teaspoon and a half of salt at this stage. And then we're going to add our beans. So let's get those pinto beans in there. Those are nice big bean. And then the corn. You don't have to put corn in there. I just like the nice little vibrant, fresh pop that corn provides, and it just makes it look pretty. All right, and don't forget our little secret here. I'm just going to put a couple of bloops in. A little bit of that goes a long way. That's why I call it a bloop, because I mean, it's like maybe half a teaspoon that I put in. It's not a lot at all. And we're going to give that a stir. Oh, but you can smell that liquid smoke. It smells so good. All right. Right now it is still a pretty loose chili. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to close the lid and we're going to let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes. And that's going to thicken it up. All right, so I'm going to put the lid on, and I am going to give it a turn just to tighten it up just a little bit. And then we're going to keep an eye on the time, and I'm going to come check on it in 5 minutes. And that may be all that it needs, but we might need to let it sit for another 5 minutes. We'll see. It'll be a surprise. Just full of surprises, aren't I? See you back. All right, it's been 5 minutes. Let's open it up and see what it looks like. So now what I think we're going to do is taste it and then see if it needs any extra seasoning. And then we're going to let it sit for another 5 minutes with the lid open to thicken up just a little bit. It's really good. I don't think it needs anything. I'm going to add a couple more bloops. Oh, yeah. It's already thickening up. That's it. Vegan chili. Now, I'm probably going to turn this into vegetarian chili and put a little sour cream or Greek yogurt on top and maybe a little bit of cheese as well. But as it stands right now, it is vegan chili and it's perfect for fall. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're taking advantage of our curbside services and, of course, all of our online cookbooks that are available through Libby and Overdrive app. Stay safe, wash your hands, and we hope to see you real soon.